Have you ever tried to take better care of yourself, eating more salads, cutting back on salt, choosing the healthy meals everyone recommends, yet somehow you still wake up feeling bloated, tired, or mentally foggy? Most Americans brush it off as aging or stress. But what if those tiny warning signs are not random at all? What if they're the first whispers of something far more serious happening inside your body? Because here's the truth almost. No one talks about. You can lose up to 90% of your kidney function before you feel a single obvious symptom. No pain, no alarms, nothing that screams for help. Your kidneys don't yell when they're in danger. They quietly absorb the damage day after day until one moment everything changes. Your lab results, your heart rhythm, your entire future. And the most shocking part is this. For millions of people, the damage doesn't come from junk food or fast food. It comes from vegetables they trust. Vegetables sitting peacefully in the fridge wearing a halo of health while silently overwhelming the organs that keep them alive. I'm Dr. Richard Hale, and if you stay with me for the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly which healthy vegetables are quietly sabotaging your kidneys and which ones can help restore them before it's too late. No fear-mongering, no guesswork, just science, real patient stories, and the truth most people wish they had learned sooner. Because protecting your kidneys isn't about adding more effort to your life. It's about recognizing the hidden dangers right in front of you and choosing differently before the damage becomes irreversible. And once you understand what's really happening inside your body, you'll never look at your plate the same way again. Tomatoes are one of the most trusted healthy foods in America, and that's exactly why they catch so many people off guard. Fresh tomatoes sliced into a salad, tossed on a sandwich, or mixed into a bowl of greens are perfectly gentle on the kidneys. But everything changes the moment those tomatoes are boiled down, condensed, and packed into a jar or can. What looks harmless on your plate becomes something entirely different once it turns into sauce paste or ketchup, and most people have no idea how drastically that shift affects their kidneys. I've seen this mistake so many times in my clinic that it almost feels predictable. People proudly tell me they've switched from fast food to home-cooked clean meals, and they genuinely believe they're doing everything right. That was exactly the case with Robert, a 59-year-old retired construction worker who came to me confused, exhausted, and short of breath. Every Sunday, he made his own pasta sauce from scratch. No preservatives, no added sugar, nothing processed, just tomato paste, olive oil, garlic, and herbs. He felt good about it. He believed he was choosing heart-friendly ingredients. He believed he was safe. But the day his heart began skipping beats like a broken metronome, everything changed. His potassium levels had skyrocketed. His EKG was unstable. He was rushed to the ER with a condition doctors fear most: hyperkalemia, a silent but deadly overload of potassium that can cause the heart to simply stop. And the cause was hiding right there in his favorite healthy meal. Here's the science in the simplest terms possible. When you concentrate a tomato, you don't just concentrate its flavor, you concentrate its minerals. 1 cup of tomato sauce can carry close to 1,000 milligrams of potassium, nearly half of the daily limit for anyone with reduced kidney function. Add a bowl of tomato soup at lunch, a squeeze of ketchup at dinner, and you've unknowingly crossed into dangerous territory before the day even ends. The kidneys struggle to push out the excess potassium, builds up in the bloodstream, and the heart's electrical rhythm begins to misfire. Now, this doesn't mean you have to give up tomatoes forever. It means you have to respect their concentration. A couple of tablespoons of sauce instead of half a cup. Fresh diced tomatoes instead of paste. Roasted red peppers as a flavorful, kidney-friendly substitute. Small adjustments, big protection. But knowing this alone isn't enough, because the next vegetable looks even more innocent, and yet it overwhelms the kidneys in a way most people never see coming. And while tomato sauce hides its danger behind a healthy reputation, the next food doesn't even pretend to be suspicious. It sits on almost every American dinner table, warm, comforting, familiar, and that's exactly why it slips under the radar. Potatoes. Mashed, baked, roasted, fried, scallop. They show up at family dinners, holidays, potlucks, and restaurant plates across the entire country. But for someone with even mild kidney decline, this comfort food can quietly become a ticking time bomb. Most people have no idea how much potassium hides inside a single potato. 1 medium-baked potato can contain close to 1,000 milligrams of potassium, and a cup of sweet potato mash often reaches 1-200 milligrams. For a healthy kidney, that's manageable. But for a kidney under stress, even just slightly weakened, it's like pouring water faster than the drain can handle. The pressure builds, potassium rises, and the heart pays the price. Linda, a 64-year-old grandmother, learned this the hard way. She had worked so hard to clean up her diet. She cut out sugary sodas, skipped fried foods, started cooking at home, and felt proud every time she spooned a big serving of homemade mashed potatoes onto her plate. Thanksgiving was her favorite. A big bowl of creamy mashed potatoes, sweet potato casserole, and roasted red potatoes, all made with love, all made from scratch. But that night something felt wrong. Her heart fluttered like a trapped bird. Her muscles grew weak. She couldn't catch her breath. By the time she reached the ER, her potassium level had climbed above 6.0, a dangerous zone that puts the heart at immediate risk of slipping into fatal arrhythmia. Doctors diagnosed her with acute hyperkalemia, and the cause wasn't junk food, fast food, or anything processed. It was her homemade potatoes, the dish she trusted most. Here's what happens behind the scenes. When potatoes are cooked whole, baked, fried, roasted, their potassium stays locked inside. The kidneys of someone over 60, especially with early-stage kidney strain, simply can't flush out that much potassium at once. But there's a fix, a powerful one. When you peel, slice, soak, and boil potatoes in fresh water, you can remove up to 70% of their potassium. Smaller portions help even more. A quarter cup instead of a full bowl. One form of potato, not 3 on the same plate. These small shifts can make the difference between pressure and protection. But understanding potatoes is still only part of the story, because the next so-called superfood can damage the kidneys in a way far more direct and far more dangerous than most people ever imagine. And if potatoes quietly overwhelm the kidneys through sheer volume, the next food harms them in a far sharper and more direct way, a way most people never see coming because it's praised everywhere as a superfood. Beets. Colorful, earthy, energizing, and surprisingly dangerous for anyone with even mild kidney decline. The problem isn't the flavor, the calories, or the carbs. The real danger lies in what beets carry inside them, hidden behind their bright red glow: potassium and oxalates, 2 substances that can turn into a destructive force when the kidneys slow down. Many Americans drink beet juice because they hear it boosts nitric oxide, lowers blood pressure, and improves blood flow, and those benefits are real for people with healthy kidneys. But when kidney function dips even slightly, that same juice becomes risky. A single glass of beet juice can contain 450 to 600 milligrams of potassium, already pushing someone with stage 2 or stage 3 kidney decline toward overload. Yet potassium isn't even the most dangerous part. Oxalates are. Oxalates bind with calcium to form razor-sharp crystals, tiny microscopic shards that scrape kidney tissue as they pass through. For someone with compromised filtration, they don't pass smoothly. They accumulate, block the filtration channels, and ignite inflammation inside the kidney itself. I wish this were just theory, but it's not. Real people experience it. One of my patients, a 57-year-old avid cyclist named Mark, switched from energy drinks to daily beet smoothies after watching a fitness news segment claiming beet juice was the ultimate natural performance booster. For a few weeks, he felt great, lighter, faster, more energized. But then he started noticing back pain, nausea, and extreme fatigue. His urine turned darker. Labs later confirmed the diagnosis: acute oxalate nephropathy, kidney injury, caused directly by oxalate overload. The doctors told him something he never expected to hear. The smoothies he thought were healing him were actually shutting his kidneys down. This pattern is well documented in studies published in the American Journal of Kidney Diseases. People with borderline kidney function drinking beet juice for just a few weeks develop sudden declines in GFR and symptoms of kidney stress. The fix isn't giving up beets entirely, it's choosing safer forms. Small roasted beet slices instead of juice. No beet powders or concentrated shots. And pairing beets with calcium-rich foods like yogurt or cheese helps bind some oxalates before they reach the kidneys. But only knowing about beets isn't enough, because the next vegetable doesn't damage your kidneys. It protects them in ways most people never realize. And it may become one of the most powerful foods in your healing journey. And after seeing how quickly certain vegetables can overload or damage the kidneys, it's easy to feel like everything you eat might be a threat. But that's not true, not even close, because some foods don't fight against your kidneys. they fight for them. And one of the most underestimated heroes in kidney health is a vegetable almost everyone overlooks: cauliflower. It doesn't have the vibrant color of beets, the sweetness of tomatoes, or the comfort factor of potatoes. But what it lacks in flash, it makes up for in pure, gentle strength. Cauliflower is one of the lowest potassium, lowest phosphorus, lowest sodium vegetables you can eat, making it incredibly easy on the kidneys. Just 1 cup of cooked cauliflower contains around 88 milligrams of potassium, a fraction, compared to the 1,000 hiding in a baked potato. For a kidney, struggling to keep up that difference is enormous. It's the difference between feeling heavy and feeling energized, between swelling and stability, between stress and relief. I'll never forget Margaret, a 67-year-old retired teacher who came to me terrified after hearing her creatinine was climbing. She wasn't eating processed food. She wasn't eating fast food. She wasn't overeating. In fact, she'd been told for years that homemade mashed potatoes were safe because they weren't from a box. But when we walked through her meals together, it clicked. That single comfort dish eaten every night was pushing her potassium too high. All I asked her to do was swap her mashed potatoes for creamy mashed cauliflower, a little olive oil, a bit of garlic, a pinch of herbs. Simple, gentle, delicious. 6 weeks later, everything changed. Her swelling decreased, her energy returned, her lab results stabilized, her potassium dropped to normal, and her creatinine began moving in the right direction, slowly, steadily, exactly the way healing often begins. And it wasn't a miracle. It was just biology. Cauliflower belongs to the cruciferous vegetable family, rich in sulforaphane and glucosinolates compounds shown in studies from the Journal of Renal Nutrition to reduce inflammation and support natural detox pathways. In other words, it helps your kidneys breathe again. It's also incredibly versatile. You can roast it, mash it, steam it, turn it into rice, or season it into something bold and flavorful. And with every bite, you're giving your kidneys a break, something they desperately need but rarely get. But even cauliflower isn't the whole picture, because the next vegetable doesn't just protect your kidneys. It protects your heart and blood vessels at the same time. And very few people realize how powerful that combination truly is. And while cauliflower gives your kidneys room to breathe again, there's a vegetable that does even more. It protects your kidneys and your heart at the same time. It's one of the most overlooked, underestimated, and yet most powerful foods you can add to your plate: red bell peppers. They're bright, sweet, easy to cook with, and somehow still treated like a garnish rather than a main player in healing. But when you look at what they do inside the body, you begin to understand why I recommend them to nearly every patient facing kidney trouble. Red bell peppers are naturally low in potassium, with about 250 milligrams per cup, a fraction of the load found in tomatoes or potatoes. That alone makes them kidney-friendly, but their real strength lies in their antioxidant content. They're rich in vitamin C, beta-carotene, lycopene, and flavonoids, all of which act like tiny shields protecting your kidney cells from oxidative stress, the slow, silent wear and tear that ages the kidneys long before you feel any symptoms. I remember a patient named George, a 61-year-old truck driver, who came to see me after years of struggling with high blood pressure and fluctuating potassium levels. He had switched to tomato soups and sauces because he thought they were healthier than fast food on the road. But his labs kept getting worse. His potassium bounced between high, normal, and dangerous. His blood pressure refused to stabilize. And worst of all, he felt heavy after eating, like his body couldn't settle down. When we replaced those condiments and sauces with red bell pepper-based meals, roasted peppers, pepper stir-fries, even a pepper-based soup he grew to love, everything changed. Within a few weeks, his potassium normalized. His blood pressure dropped 10 points. And for the first time in months, he told me, "Doctor, I finally feel light after eating. Not tired, not drained. Just normal again." That's not coincidence. That's chemistry. Research from the Clinical Journal of the American Society of Nephrology shows that diets rich in colorful vegetables like red bell peppers are linked to lower blood pressure, improved vascular flexibility, and a slower rate of kidney decline. When your blood vessels stay flexible, your kidneys stay protected because the two organs are inseparable partners. And peppers are incredibly easy to use. Roast them until their edges darken, slice them raw into salads, sauté them into stir-fries, or blend them into soups without relying on salt or heavy sauces. But even the power of red bell peppers isn't the final piece of the puzzle, because the next ingredient is smaller, humbler, and yet more potent than all the others. And it might just be the secret your kidneys have been waiting for. And if red bell peppers protect your kidneys by strengthening the blood vessels that feed them, the next ingredient works on an even deeper level, calming inflammation, lowering blood pressure, and restoring balance from the inside out. It may look tiny, humble, and ordinary, but it's one of the most powerful natural protectors your kidneys could ever ask for. Garlic. Most people think of it as a seasoning, something you add for flavor. But inside every clove is a compound so potent, so biologically active, that ancient healers valued it as medicine long before modern science could explain why. That compound is allicin released when you crush or chop fresh garlic and let it rest for about 10 minutes. That unmistakable aroma isn't just a smell, it's chemistry. It's allicin activating, transforming into a triple action shield, anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, and naturally blood pressure regulating. And for people with kidney strain, blood pressure controls everything because the kidneys are directly wired to the cardiovascular system. What hurts one always hurts the other. One of my patients, Patricia, a 60-year-old retired nurse, came to me frustrated after years of battling stubborn blood pressure and early-stage chronic kidney disease. She'd tried multiple medications. She'd reduced her salt. She walked every morning, but her numbers barely moved. She felt defeated. That's when I asked her to do just one thing: add 2 freshly crushed garlic cloves to her meals daily, giving them 10 minutes of air exposure before cooking so the allicin could fully activate. 3 months later, the difference was undeniable. Her systolic blood pressure dropped from 150 to 135, her diastolic stabilized, and her inflammation markers improved for the first time in years. She didn't change her prescriptions, she changed her food. And when she told me, "Doctor, for the first time, my body feels like it's finally cooperating with me," I knew she had crossed a turning point. Studies back this up. Research in the Journal of Hypertension and the American Journal of Nephrology shows that garlic can lower systolic blood pressure by 8 to 15 points and significantly reduce oxidative stress in people with kidney disease. It also offers something your kidneys desperately need: flavor without sodium. Every time you season with garlic instead of salt, you protect your blood vessels from the pressure spikes that slowly damage kidney tissue. Garlic proves that healing doesn't have to be complicated. It can be as simple as one small habit repeated each day, a habit that strengthens your heart, calms inflammation, and supports the organs that keep you alive. But even the power of garlic isn't the full story, because what determines the future of your kidneys isn't just one food. It's the mindset you bring to every choice that follows. You've just learned something most people never hear until it's too late. Not every healthy food heals the kidneys, and not every vegetable is as innocent as it looks. But if you're watching this right now, I want you to know something important. You're already ahead of the curve. You cared enough to learn to question and to protect your own health. That alone puts you miles ahead of where many people ever start. And the truth is, kidney health is not about perfection. It's about progress. It's about small choices that stack up in your favor, choosing cauliflower instead of potatoes, peppers instead of sauces, garlic instead of salt. None of these require dramatic lifestyle changes. They simply require awareness, and you already have that. So take a moment to recognize the step you took today. It matters more than you realize. Before you go, I want you to do something for your future self. Save this video so you can revisit it anytime you're planning meals or feeling unsure about your choices. And if you haven't already subscribed to this channel, and turn on notifications. Every week I share new medical insights, real patient stories, and practical science-backed tools to help you protect your kidneys and the rest of your body with clarity and confidence. The information you hear today may save your life or someone you love tomorrow. Because despite everything you've heard, your kidneys are not doomed. They don't need miracles, expensive treatments, or complicated routines. They need consistency, compassion, and someone who listens to their quiet signals, someone like you. And if you stay committed one choice at a time, you can support your kidneys for years to come. I'm Dr. Richard Hale. Thank you for watching. Thank you for caring. And I'll see you in the next video, where we'll uncover the simple morning habits that can either heal your kidneys or silently harm them.